Hopefully everybody's ready to have a good Thursday in the land of crypto here. Welcome back to the Cosas Verdes live show. We are going to take a look at Bitcoin on low time frames with the higher time frame EMAs to start off here. It looks like Bitcoin is playing around between the weekly 55 and the weekly 21. So I know you can't see my chart right now, but it seems to be establishing a little range right there as traditional markets are backfilling a gap up. So let's take a look at these fairly tight ranges for Bitcoin and then determine, hey, is Bitcoin price going to break down and fill its gap, which is almost precisely at 42K? Or is Bitcoin going to get a bounce and continue up its ascent closer to 46 or even 48K before filling its gap in the future? So let's dive into this. But that's what we have going on right now, through my perspective. All this live stuff. Here we go. All right. I have on. I'm going to go ahead and label these real quick. Weekly 21 is the yellow one. And again, I'm using what's called the MTF EMA for this. And Bitcoin's getting ready to hit its weekly 55, which is blue. And then you have further support down here, which would be a gap fill down here if Bitcoin were to take a healthy correction down to its weekly 10. That would not only accomplish retesting the weekly 10, which Bitcoin does a lot, but also would fill a gap. And if anybody's long on the crypto market, honestly, it might happen right now. It looks like it's getting ready to happen. So if we're going to catch this live here, I would fully suspect Bitcoin to at least get some sort of bounce off here if this line is hit. Would Bitcoin then go straight up to 46K, the same day or the next day? No, it's possible that Bitcoin could bounce off here and simply make another lower high. Let me make my arrows a little different color. Potentially make a lower high before then potentially rolling over. And so right now we have, and then we also have the monthly 10 up here acting as resistance. So you have double resistance for very strong EMAs, and you have double support as well. Therefore, Bitcoin has a strong chance of simply bouncing around this area for an extended period of time and losing its overall volatility, getting those volatility indicators, squished down to zero essentially before an aggressive either move up or move down. But these are the things that I'm looking at, and a break of either the weekly 10 or the 21 could be a fairly aggressive one. However, I don't know if this is quite enough chopping around yet. And if Bitcoin were to break up or break out of either the 21 or the 10 sooner than later, I still have the thought process it's going to break up and want to test 46K before a breakage fully out of this the bigger range with the yellow line and the thick red line, weekly 10, weekly 21. That is my consensus right now, because the traditional markets are not reacting badly to the whole Ukraine Russia ordeal, and basically off of the for traditional market traders, I guess what is seeming more important to them right now is it's simply indicating that that the interest rates aren't going to be raised, and risky assets are game on under those conditions. And I think Bitcoin should be able to do pretty well in that sort of environment of traditional markets, as I think most people now do agree, or at least realize that Bitcoin is pretty damn connected to the traditional markets it's almost too much of a degree. Although you do have some days where it separates and it might follow gold as a more risk off asset. You kind of have a dynamic where you got to tug and pull. But we actually might be able to watch this happen live. Let's go down to the 5-minute chart and watch it with these same EMAs on. So again, this is our range here. And I would fully expect a bounce if Bitcoin were to hit this 42 area, because it's going to accomplish two things at once. Hit the weekly 10 after having flown above it. So look, I don't know if y'all remember my YouTube non-live video where I said, if Bitcoin's going to get above and stay above the weekly 10 EMA, which is this red line, you can't get a Humpty Dumpty reaction. You have to have an Arnold reaction. You remember that one? Look, this is an Arnold reaction. Therefore, statistically, Bitcoin has a better chance of staying above it now that it is above. Let me get to it. Actually, I'll stay on the 5-minute time frame. And look, I was making that video around here because we just had a Humpty Dumpty reaction above the weekly 10. See this red line? Bitcoin did not have an Arnold Schwarzenegger reaction over it. It couldn't even close a 4-hour candle. I don't think it closed even a 4-hour candle above this. It didn't close a daily over this. I do know that. So therefore, it was a Humpty Dumpty reaction over the weekly 10. And again, I'm on the 5-minute chart looking at the weekly EMAs. You can see how perfectly. I mean, let's get rid of my watermark here. That's a little distracting. I mean, look how nicely these 5-minute candles were dealing. So this was obviously the front line of the war of the buyers and sellers, right? Buyers and sellers, not Ukraine, Russia. This weekly 10 EMA, and that was a Humpty Dumpty reaction, and that's why I was kind of kicking and screaming and yelling, hey folks, I know that a lot of people are bullish, but this is in a downtrend. This is not how Bitcoin gets over and stays over the weekly 10, right? And we also had a gap fill to happen at that time. Now we do have a gap fill to fill, which is statistically extremely probable to happen, but it's almost exactly at the weekly 10. Therefore, if you are long, this wouldn't be a bad time to consider, making your moves there. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm simply stating my opinion, and you can make your adult decisions according to your own mental faculties. Yeah, that's going to be cool if we can see the exact wick down to this. It should be a pretty close one. It might be almost exact. So yeah, we have an Arnold Schwarzenegger reaction over the weekly 10. This is a very healthy backfill, or a retest of the weekly 10, and then I would fully suspect. And the reason why I'm kind of caught on the idea of 46K being hit before any further downside after the gap fill is because if we zoom out and take off these EMAs and go to something like the 8-hour chart, put on my macro tilted range, Bitcoin's kind of in no man's land right now. It didn't get a full-on rejection from this line. Therefore, to me, it looks more like it's trying to consolidate under this point of control. And what I can do here is I can make this point of control something like, I can make it yellow, and I can make this more of a red color. Can't really see the red very well. How about orange? That's too close to yellow. Damn it. There we go. That looks good. And then this maybe start turning green, the 3/4 line. Let's do something like... there we go. Kind of like a stoplight, right? Green, yellow, red. And it didn't quite get into the point of control. It didn't get a full-on rejection. It came up shy. So because it's in no man's land, and it's above the weekly 10 with an Arnold Schwarzenegger reaction, all those things combined, I really think that price wants to come up into this channel, maybe even wick above, maybe even hit 47 or 48. I don't know, but I just don't see it. I don't see it quite turning around, coming all the way back down to 39K or lower, 39 to 37 to come back into this 1/4 zone. So this is the 1/4 zone of the tilted macro range that goes back a year. This is the point of control. This is the 3/4 line. This is the bottom of it, closer to 33K, and the top of it. If Bitcoin were to really rally up over the next month or so, that would take it to 73 to 75K. Which in the greater, context of things, overall, this is something that we've talked about a lot on my Discord, is that I think my macro third most probable, even though I don't think this is the most likely scenario, but I am keeping this idea in mind, is that Bitcoin simply follows this range, and it could set another all-time high, right at 75. And we've been kind of eyeballing that possibility. Although I am midterm time frame bearish, the conditions under which my midterm time frame bearishness, and therefore I won't expect capitulation anytime soon, would be using this point of control as support. If I see this point of control used at not just getting inside of it, but the top of it being used as support, if I could see that, then I would flip to midterm time frame more neutral, if not slightly bullish. But as of now, it's stuck in no man's land, so I'm not changing my thought process on my midterm time frame. All right, let's go down to a smaller time frame here, and I'll throw these EMAs back on and see if we can kind of catch this. Oop, I didn't want that one. There we go. Still missing one. There it is. All right. Go down to, oh hell, I'll go down to the 5-minute chart. Looks like it's getting ready to happen. And this is the type of stuff when I see for my Discord community, I would give alerts on that. But originally I was thinking that this was not going to break down earlier in the day because of the gap up in traditional markets, but looks like traditional markets are turning around fairly heavily after a gap up. All right, let me start looking at some questions here. But yeah, these are the EMAs I'm using. Like the key ones are the weekly 21 and the weekly 10. And I think that remember the most important thing is I think there's a statistical probability that Bitcoin will stay above the weekly 10 because of its reaction above it. And whenever this kind of reaction above the weekly 10 happens, it is very common that it comes back and tests it before continuing its move up. And this should align pretty closely with the 4-hour 21 EMA. Usually that's where Bitcoin likes to go or wick below before continuing its move up on a 4-hour chart. Let me add one more here. A lot of things are aligning with a fairly strong bounce there. Let me see where the 4-hour 21 is. I will make this yellow. That looks ugly. There you go, line with breaks. Oh, it's yeah, it is a wick below its 4-hour 21, which is extremely common during a 4-hour chart pump up. It likes to come back down and test its 4-hour 21 or wick below it. Now the question of mine is it going to go ahead and fill that gap? It's still $300 off. Hadn't filled the gap. It's going to be fun to watch. All right, but for the meantime, we can come back and check that. I'll look at what you got for questions here. Hey, Timmy, what about DAG consolidation? All right, let's get it. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well today. I have a, even though it's not too cold outside, I have still a red lamp on a cat bed in my pole barn that's inside of a cage that's covered to keep the warmth in and everything. And freaking an old rat, I think he's old by the way his eyes are, but I got a freaking old raccoon just chilling under the lamp. And when I go in there, he looks at me, he's like, dude, I'm not moving. He's not aggressive. I'm like, raccoon, this is not your bed, man. I'm like, what? And I don't live close enough to a creek or a river. He shouldn't be here, because typically raccoons, their behavior is they don't go more than a half a mile from a water source. And I guess I am close. I'm about 3/4 of a mile. But I don't have raccoons out by my house because I'm slightly too far from a main water source. Which makes it kind of weird that he's here. Because raccoons, they wash their food before they eat it. Because they have hands almost like freaking humans. It's really wild. If you've never seen a raccoon eat and wash its food, it's really wild. They look like little people. But with fur and a mask on. It's really wild. All right, rock and roll. Let's take a look at your questions here. Gap fill in weekly 10. It looks like it wants to get it here. Might come up, get a quick rejection from the weekly 10. I mean, the weekly 55, and then come down to the weekly 10. Something like that. Let's see what S&P's doing, getting a good reaction. So, and again, the weird thing is, S&P is dealing with roughly the same EMAs, although the structure is a little different. The weekly 10 is acting as resistance, and what's acting as support is the weekly 55 and is the weekly 55 down here. So it more has double resistance and only single support. And this is the 4-hour 21, and this is the monthly 10. So monthly 10 is kind of like your point of control. But it's interesting that traditional markets are dealing with the same major EMAs. And the similar EMA crosses, this is a very bearish cross. So the weekly 10 went below the weekly 21, which is very bearish cross. And it's very bullish when it crosses the other way. Exceptionally bullish. And this is the exact cross that me and, my crypto community, we were hunting for these crosses to the upside during March and April. And they were extremely profitable, but to the downside they can also get some pretty nasty movements. All right, Bitcoin is just below the 4-hour 21. It's trying to come right back up to it. Hopefully y'all find it kind of cool to see the really small time frames dealing with the larger EMAs, so you can see how they respect them and appreciate them. Like they really are real. I mean, algorithms are highly set on, programmed. Not obviously not all of them are programmed to this. However, in the landscape of all algorithms for trade, automatic trading desks, these EMAs are a key function of many of them. So it's so important to keep them in your back pocket. Do you expect it to bounce back up towards the monthly 10 after it tags the weekly 10? Yeah, I do. Honestly, I would... Let me take off the 4-hour 21 because we kind of got that under... No, I'll keep it on. Yeah, because the monthly 10 is coming in right around the daily open. So if Bitcoin can get above this line, the day would flip green. And the day did flip green right when I was getting to my computer today. I was like, holy shit, the day flipped green. And then it turned right around. Like a half hour before traditional markets opened, because it was going to be a big gap up, and the futures of traditional markets started trying to get a backfill. But I still think this is mostly a backfill before continuation to the upside. But yeah, I think price will come straight back up to this area and test this, and then I would expect tomorrow to be a green day at this point. Today might end a doji candle of some sort with a really small body. Would be my expectations of the day, given that it broke below the weekly 55. I was expecting a bounce at the 55, then come back up, but it didn't happen out. It didn't work out like that. Do you look at other? Yeah, I look at other coins, Virginia, that people typically need to ask. Charts of cold stack. I don't know what cold stack is. It's on Uniswap. Not very well traded. Those 5-minute candles are pretty separate. I mean, this is price discovery down, man. Yeah, this is I would not be interested in getting into this at all. Yeah, it's that looks like a 90% drop or more. Yep, almost exactly 88.8%. I mean, I wouldn't want to try to be in this until it can establish, even though that'd be a big move up to this, 56%, but I wouldn't be convinced in anything bullish until it can both get above this area right there and that area here, and if it has a bump, which I think it's more probable has continued price discovery down, honestly, but if it can get above a box and form from that point and that point, then I think it has a chance to, potentially get back up to where it was earlier. I would draw a box, something like that, but if it's under that box, I mean, it's just pressure down, pressure down, pressure down. Throw on something like the weekly 10. I think this weekly 10 is going to be acting as resistance, and it's just going to keep, I think it's going to keep coming down. I would not be Yeah, in no way, shape, or form would I be excited about something having price discovery down at this point, because you have so many other stronger projects that are having, retesting their all-time highs as Bitcoin is, being moderately weak in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, this is very far from being a market winner right now. And it's honestly hard to find coins that are having price discovery that low, price discovery down. I mean, this is among the weakest coins in all of crypto. Those are my just straight up honest opinions. I'm not trying to be nice. Rather, I'm trying to be truthful and honest with you, what I'm seeing. How you take my opinion on the matter, that's, obviously up to you. And maybe you don't like my answer, but that's what I'm saying. Hopefully you can appreciate that for what it is. All right, Mike. I'm glad you got involved with got a hold of Blake to get your coupon to join the Discord. Make sure you take full advantage of the tutorial or the library section that's available to all tiers, especially scrolling down to the bottom, the newer videos that I've released for tutorials on portfolio management, on what is how to establish trends, and the trend is your friend, all that stuff. It's really important stuff to go over. And they're edited, so they're really fast-paced watches. It's really fast-paced stuff to get through. All right. But I'm glad you're liking the Discord, Mike. Thanks. Have you looked at MNW Morpheus? I thought Morpheus ticker was something else. I thought Morpheus was MTX. Or maybe there's oh, this is Morpheus Network. What is the other Morpheus? Morpheus Labs is MITX. Okay. Morpheus Labs and Morpheus Networks. MNW. Oop. All right, I'll take a look real quick. I mean, this is also price discovery down. I mean, the money in this is if you could short it, but it looks like it's a small cap altcoin, so you don't have futures on this. But you've only had a couple fake outs above this overall trading channel down. So the way to interpret this is it's in a very, very, very clear trading channel down. All right. And there's no hope for it until it both gets out of it and uses it as support. So you want to draw something like this on your chart. And you'll want to establish a point of control. And the way I do points of control, I make it smaller and dashed like this. I might have to go down to the 4-hour chart to see it a little better. Actually, I think I nailed it. Yep, that's the point of control. Yeah, this is a very tight range, so I would fully expect it to, at bare minimum, because the trend is, once it hits the top of it, it comes at least to the point of control, or the bottom. So the next move down for this is coming straight to 78 cents. Maybe holding its, in the middle of the point of control at 82, but I would say between 77 to maybe 83 would be my target for this. It looks like it's gonna hit that box. That's just how it behaves. Hits the top, goes to the point of control at bare minimum or the bottom. Hits the top, rides the point of control, failed the point of control, hit the bottom. Rejected from the point of control, hit the bottom. Rejected point of control, hit the bottom. Fake out to the top, went straight to the point of control, hit the bottom. Hit the top, and the trend will continue. Right, hit the point of control, bounce around, and another all-time low is probably what's going to happen. Yeah, this is stuck in that trading channel, and it's going to stay there until it's not. So therefore, because it's still in it, it would be unreasonable to think that anything new is going to happen until something new has happened. Like that, as unfortunate as that is, that's just the way the world is, and with price movement, it is until it isn't. As stupid as that sounds, but once you realize the power of that statement, it really all it means is the trend is your friend. That's all that means. What is happening now will continue to happen until it doesn't. But it sounds stupid, but it's not. Yep, that would be my expectations of this. All right. So what about DAG? I don't. So somebody asked about DAG. I'm not for sure what that is. This chart's not that bad. Ooh. You got an incoming really nasty cross of the weekly 10 and weekly 55, though. That is going to spell some trouble here. Yeah, I would really... So on this, I would really focus on the price's reaction to the weekly 10. If it cannot get above this red line, which is the weekly 10 EMA, this cross is going to spell big, big downside. However, a lot of times when two important lines cross, price wants to come up and test it. So this weekly 55 is where, this is where it's at right now. If it can't get back up here, it's going to have some heavy, heavy downside. Very heavy downside. Yeah, these are the two EMAs to be looking at for sure. And it's more fun to look at them on smaller time frames. You do have a point of support here. So if this is going to turn around, what could happen is these EMAs do cross, like the weekly 10 just barely crosses, and then if Bitcoin does make a move up to 52K or something to that effect, which is absolutely possible, these weekly EMAs would do something like this. So you would have it barely cross, but then price would do something like this. If Bitcoin can get... let me make that white for price. So price is white. Not the price is right, but price is white. It has a chance to do this and essentially undo this cross when the cross is still, not premature, but it's still like in its infancy. So... But usually this cross here that's incoming, it's very, very bad. But this is what you would be looking out for. You would need the level of essentially 10 and 11 cents to hold. 10 to 11 cents is key to hold. And if it can't hold that, this cross will spell, it's coming straight down to like 3 cents. It's going to hit this area. If it can't hold this, it'll come straight down to this box. 3.5 cents. Yeah, there would be nothing else stopping it. Therefore, if you see anything more bearish than this happen, it's 3.5 cents would be your target. But it's not a bad chart. It's just a lot of things in crypto right now are having these pretty bad crosses, which is why I'm not midterm time frame bullish at all. However, in the short term, I am moderately bullish, but especially after this, after Bitcoin can wick down to its weekly 10 and fill the gap at 42. All right, a lot of people are asking about Verasity. All right. I like Verasity. This might be my favorite small mid-cap coin. Take off price. Look, even so, that coin we're just looking at, technically on the weekly scale, is stronger than Verasity right now. It's holding up better than Verasity. Verasity already has that cross, and so does Bitcoin. Or no, wait. Maybe Bitcoin doesn't have that cross yet. Right? No. Yes, Bitcoin does have that cross as well. So Verasity, really, from a weekly perspective, is following Bitcoin pretty closely because they just now crossed. And that cross is bad. Real bad. Historically. It typically marks the second half of a bear market. It actually has every single time marked the second half of a bear market. And a lot of times that's when you get a dead cat bounces, right? When it's happening, and that's your dead cat bounce right before the second half of the bear market, which is why I'm not midterm time frame bullish. So this cross is bad. Real bad. Yeah, Verasity hasn't been above its weekly 10 since last year. Since late November. Therefore, it's pressure down until it can get above its weekly 10. So honestly, this is bleeding versus Bitcoin right now because Bitcoin got above its weekly 10, and right now it's coming down to test its weekly 10. So Verasity is bleeding versus Bitcoin. If there is a Verasity BTC chart, its slope is down as well. Well, let's just go look at it. See, this is Verasity versus Bitcoin. So it's going down versus Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is going down, outside of the small term time frames. It's more choppy and down, but when Bitcoin's down and a coin is losing versus Bitcoin, so what this chart means, this is Verasity versus Bitcoin. It means Verasity is going down faster than Bitcoin. And each time Bitcoin goes up, Verasity might make some gains, but it loses all those gains and more when Bitcoin makes another low of some form, whether it's a higher low or a lower low, and Bitcoin recently made a higher low. And what did Verasity do? It made a lower low. So check this out. On February 23rd, Verasity made a lower low, while Bitcoin, I believe, made a higher low. See that? Low, higher low on February, the same date, 23rd. So Verasity is bleeding versus this. Keep that in mind. But that's very typical during downturns. Bitcoin starts gobbling up dominance in the market. Let's go back to Verasity here, though. All right, so keep that in mind. The weekly 10 for Verasity is the pressure down point. Why is my brain not working properly? Okay, it was just one more down. Yeah, so I guess I could take off the 55 even. So really all you need are horizontals. So this horizontal is perfectly labeled right here. I'll make it a little bigger for you so you can see it, but 0.009. Or no. This is the whole box. I'm sorry. That's the top and okay. So the whole bleed box. So this is 0.009 and this is 2.64 cents. But this point of control, the top of it's at 1.78. So it's at 178. Therefore, what looks to be happening is you're going to have a squeeze play. This weekly 10 is going to keep charging closer and closer to this point of control. And what price needs to do is it needs to stay above the point of control and then break above the weekly 10. That's what needs to happen for Verasity. And this could be a really powerful move. But it might take all of March to play out, because if it played out similar to this would be about April 1st. So it looks like it's going to get stuck in this triangle and squeeze, but it could also squeeze down. It could absolutely squeeze down. It doesn't have to squeeze up. But the thing is, as the weekly 10 is here, it will not continue going sideways past the first week of April. It could. Past the second week of April. So second week of April, this will have made a choice by then. By April, 15th or 12th or something like that, April 10th, whatever, it won't be here anymore. Price will either be up here or price will be down here. It will not be in this vicinity in the late second and early third week of April. It won't be here. And that's really what I would keep an eye out on. And again, this level right here for Verasity is at about 178. 178. And the bottom of this box is 150. 150 to 178. Obviously with the decimal and a 0 in front of it. And that's really all you need to look at. And you could essentially play this, this descending triangle. Buy, sell, until it breaks up. Until you think it's breaking out, then you just want to hold on to it in that case. But it looks like it's going to get rejected another time at least. Iron Bank. All right. Okay. Somebody in Super Chat asked for Iron Bank, so I got to take priority for that question before I look at the other questions here. Iron Bank on Sushi Swap. Which one? You have Iron Bank KRW, you have Iron Bank CHF. You have three. What the hell? IBW, IBK, and IBC. Which one? Oh, and as you're responding to that, VRA and B Pro. I don't know. I'm gonna be holding both. I'm only holding B Pro right now. I started dollar cost averaging in. I have probably out of all the B Pro that I want before next bull run, I have a quarter of it. To be, just very transparent with you, I have a quarter of the B Pro that I want in preparation for the next bull market. Because I'm not totally convinced we're going up to the moon from here. I still think there's a greater than 50% chance that there's a lot more downside in 2022. Therefore, however, I think that there's a decent chance, maybe 33 to 25% chance, that Bitcoin screams up to 75K for that third most likely scenario. Because remember at the beginning of the stream I said the third most likely scenario for Bitcoin, in my opinion, from a macro and mid-macro sense, is that it does something like this. Because it is hitting the master origin line here. If I put on the... and because I think it's roughly a 25% chance, or slightly greater, that something like this happens, therefore, I am in my HODL position 25% at this point. So the percentage I think that the move down is over for 2022, I think that's 25% or 33%. Therefore, I have 25% of the B Pro that I want. And if stuff capitulates from that, that's fine. I'm not going to sell out of that. I only have 25%, and then I will get the other, another 25% and another 25% as it comes down and bounces up, bounces around. I will slowly dollar cost average in. For me, I like B Pro the way I want to trade. It doesn't quite have the volume that I want, so I'm not day trading that or anything. I'm more of a with that token, I'm personally, but I think Verasity does have enough volume to trade. Like I honestly, once things can get into a better uptrend, Verasity might be among my coins of choice. It's although it might be almost too volatile, and I'm not even talking about futures. I'm talking about spot trade. All right, did you tell me which one? Ironbake FTM versus Wrap Phantom. Okay. Whoa. I mean, it's brand new. I think it could settle down. It has a chance of settling down right here. But it looks like it's going to go straight there. So it looks like it's going to come straight down to $49 and right at 49 bucks. I would probably not be interested in picking any up until that point, because it's extreme with this velocity down. It's extremely likely to happen. Wonder why this has a gap. Does the trading close on Spooky Swap? That's weird. It's almost like this doesn't trade 24/7. What's up with that? Yeah, whatever it's doing, it's coming down to fill this gap, but because it's coming from so high, the velocity of that fall won't be able to stop right there, and it's going to come down lower. So, yeah, this is at least going to hit 49 bucks. Oh, yeah, there's just a very, very small chance that with all this velocity, it can stop right there on that horizontal. It's a very small chance. That's where it's headed. But because of the velocity, right? So like trying to stop a car, trying to stop yourself when you're running, it's not just going to be like, whoop, I'm done, It's going to go, okay, I'm here, stop. Oh, okay. Like that's the way it's going to go. Like jumping, if you're jumping on a normal trampoline, so analogy, if this blue line, let me make this a little bigger. If this blue line were a trampoline and you're just, you're bouncing off of the trampoline, just normal bounces, and when you come back down, the trampoline only goes about this far down, right? And then the fabric of it. Let me zoom in. The fabric of the trampoline only goes that far down, you keep bouncing. But if you go to a roof of your house with your trampoline under it, and you jump from off the house, the fabric of the trampoline is going to go farther down and then you're going to bounce higher up potentially too. But the fabric will stretch, and It's kind of, yeah, price has a lot to do with the physics of the world, as weird as it sounds. So that's why I'm targeting $49 for that. That's pretty nasty. That's a big move up. I'm not for sure what Iron Bank's all about, but and after that, so it did a 10x from its bottom. Yeah, right at almost exactly a 10x. Because of that strong move, it's probably going to want to consolidate in something like, it'll probably have a lot of trading volume in this area here for a while. Once it bounces, it'll probably have a lot of trading volume, and its wicks will probably be something like this. Testing the bottom of that area right here. Its wicks. So those would probably be, for an extended period of time, several months most likely. This would be a good sell box, and this would be a good buy. The bottom of it would be a good buy box. And I would anticipate that the way it's going to move is something like this. Boom. Boom. Boom, and then the market could turn around. They could take off. But I think this area. Let me something like that. It's going to have to put in some time here. If it can use this as, that's with the assumption it uses this as support. It might not. But if it can use this as support, it will have to put in some time. It won't just go straight back up to all-time highs. Safe, but if Bitcoin does actually charge up to 75K, which I think there's still, a 20 to 25% possibility of that, then I guess it could really bounce hard off that. But in my most probable my most probable scenarios in my mind, I think that's how it would move over the next few months. Versus Wrapped Phantom. Is Phantom going up? No, wow. So Phantom's coming down as that's coming out. So the price of that on a dollar basis is really screaming down, man. Be careful. All right, let's see if Bitcoin's going to get a bounce here. Let's throw some of these bad boys back on. So it's getting rejected. It's under the 4-hour 21, right? That's the 4-hour 21. It did not fill that gap. Ugh, it came close. What a fake out. Is idea still in? It's receiving incentive from solidly. All right. Somebody asked KNC. All right, I will check. I'm not familiar with KNC, but it's on a lot of exchanges. I'm surprised I'm not familiar with this. Interesting. Huh. Why am I not familiar with this? It's not very well traded. It's got fairly low trading volume. That is pretty powerful. Wow. That's powerful. What the hell is KNC? I don't even know what this sucker is. Oh, that's Kyber Network. Okay, yeah, I'm familiar. I just didn't know its ticker. Wow. This looks like it wants to ping its all-time high of $4.26. That's what it looks like to me. This is a strong move. That is impressive. This looks like news happened. I mean, this. So when I say you can see news in the charts, this is not a typical way the daily RSI moves. So something has been announced. They released something. A huge YouTuber talked about it, and his or her following base bought it. This is not how price usually moves. So this is and I don't even know anything about it. Hell, I didn't even know the ticker. So hopefully you can see me as sincere. I fully expect there's news in the charts of this. Like that smells like news. Like I could smell it into yesterday, and tomorrow. Like this, yeah. There was some type of announcement. That's not the way price is really supposed to go. But now that it's happening, it's probably not going to slow down until it might slow down at $3.40 at this wick high right here. But it looks like it's going to enter this box with ease. I honestly, I think it's targeting $4.25. It looks like it's going to hit the top of that box to me. And it's possible that it gets all the way over it and does something like that. This is a strong move that's not going to slow down. Even if Bitcoin tanks, this is ignoring this is honestly a pretty strong asset here. I am pretty impressed, actually. Yeah, this is definitely one of the stronger charts in all of crypto. Very healthy, too. I mean, hell, it's been consolidating for how long? It's been consolidating for almost 2 years. Yeah, I think it's going to hit its all-time high, to be honest with you. If not wick pat, it looks like it's going to set. It looks like it's going to break its all-time high. This is a very, very strong move. That is news-driven. Well, actually, the 5-day RSI looks pretty natural, but the reaction off of that is a little strong. So I don't know. It still looks like news to me. But you can make money off of news type of related events and releases and all that stuff. But that'd be my target. Doesn't look like it's going to slow down. All right, somebody asked about IDEA. Yeah, I mean, IDEA is absolutely in play, particularly if Bitcoin can hold its master origin line and not go below it. I mean, IDEA is sitting at a very strong consolidation area. It's clearly going to depend on Bitcoin, right? But yeah, I mean, you just from my IDEA video from yesterday where I do an analysis for about the first 5 minutes of it. If you didn't check that out, you might check it out because I go into full detail with, I do 3 different types of analyses on it: EMA analysis, a structural analysis, and just more midterm time frame analysis on it. But yeah, it looks like it wants to. It looks like it wants to come into this area of resistance here. Looks like it wants to give this a try closer to the 20, around a quarter, maybe just shy of a quarter. But this looks, you have a lot of higher lows here. And even the daily RSI has a lot of higher lows. So from an RSI or have you respected this line standpoint enough, it does have permission to have a really nice move up here. Will that happen? I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it has the ingredients to make that move. Whether it capitalizes on having those ingredients in hand, which pretty much means it's dependent upon Bitcoin, that is in question. But it is unlike those other charts that I looked at earlier where it was price discovery down. This has permission to have a nice move up. Yeah, it's put in its time. It's respected this origin line very, very nicely. So yeah, I think this is in play. But I would obviously be defensive because I think most of you know that from a midterm time frame perspective on all of crypto, I am not bullish. I am not bullish for the mid portion of 2022 at all. And I mean, I could show you why. I've already made videos on this, but I don't know if anybody here watches 100% of my videos. I know some people do, but let's see here. I mean, this is what's spooking me the most. This chart right freaking here. Right here. This is real bad. This is total too. So this is the market cap of everything minus Bitcoin. Second half of the bear market begins when this crosses. Look, Not only is it on the verge of crossing, but it's under it and getting specifically rejected by this EMA fill on the 5-day chart. But like, this is why I'm not midterm time frame bullish, folks. It's getting clearly rejected. Clearly rejected. And this would be way lower if you didn't have, you know, I shouldn't say shit, but stuff like Luna and Atom, like, kind of holding this up. The vast majority of altcoins are getting ready to tank, including things like Luna and Atom, in my opinion. I think they're going to have extremely strong moves down. And if you look at this chart on Bitcoin, what is it doing? It crossed and it got rejected by what? By the same thing. And remember, when two important lines cross, price is attracted to get back up into it. And if you zoom out on this, what did it mark? The second half of a bear market. What did it mark here? It marked the capitulation. Boom. It either is the second half of a bear market or it capitulates, which is why I've been making these videos of midterm timeframes being bearish. Look, what did it mark here? Second half of the bear market. It's crystal clear. Does it have to happen the same way? No, but 3 times in a row. It was either second half of the bear market, 1, 2, or it was capitulation. There are no exceptions. It's 3 out of 3. Now, 3 is a small sample size. It's not statistically significant. Something different could happen, right? Because, you know, you don't really start getting statistically significant until you're in the double digit for sample sizes, like 10 plus. And even then, your margin for error is still huge. So it's not, from a statistical standpoint, it's not fair to say it has to come down. Rather, with the data we have, it's not a wise bet to think that you should be midterm time frame bullish. Which is why on my HODL positions, I'm only about a quarter in. I think it's like probably 75% more likely, probable that, you know, this is going to get ugly. Really ugly. However, short-term time frame, you know, it like the daily and maybe even the 2-day to some degree, but, you know, to the 4-hour, it does look like it wants to pop up to here to 48, 47, 48. And then come back down, because when you see these crosses, a lot of times that's when you get a bounce. So you see how it bounced here right when this crossed? It tried to undo it and then capitulated. So I think that's what we're experiencing right. See how right when this crossed, it came up to try to undo it and then went bam. But right now our reaction to this is not even that strong. We didn't, like, price is getting rejected by it. It's looking really bad. Real bad. And total 2 chart is getting ready to have that cross. But it doesn't, again, I can't stress this enough, it doesn't have to play out the same way. However, it is definitely more probable that it does. That's why I'm not midterm time frame bullish. Hopefully that's super clear. And I mean, if not compelling. All right, so another channel member is asking about a coin. Sorry, my 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝙗 Polka. Can you please do KLV? All right. That's. I wouldn't be interested in this at all. There's no hope for this until it breaks out of its trading channel. I mean, so this is another one where it's a very, very, very clearly defined trading channel. So it will continue. So, like, it will continue going down until it's out of this trading channel. It is that simple. As crazy as that sounds, it is that simple. Right? Okay. Where things aren't simple are things like Luna and Atom, because they're going up. You know, they're doing well during a market where I think it's going to tank. Like, those are the coins that are not predictable. Because they could turn around at any time, but this is not turning around at any time. in either direction. So here's the bottom of its trading channel. Here's the point of control. Right there. That's it. You just need 4 lines, man. Poor gal. Sorry to guess your gender. Shouldn't do that. Yeah, this looks like price discovery down to me. It gets a lot of rejections here, too. Maybe you do have more than 4 lines. Something like that. Yeah, these are the points of support and resistance right there. That's all it's doing. I would fully expect this to make a new low. Not necessarily lower than back here, but in this trading channel. So what you need this to do is to get, you honestly, in this type of asset, you don't even need your EMAs. You literally just need these lines until it comes out of here and uses it as support. It's going to stay in. Because if you don't see it used as support, what's going to happen is this. It'll just be a fake out above. You need to see it come above and use it as support, and then it has structural permission to go out, and then you can start making sense of EMAs. But the way I analyze stuff, a lot of times I use EMAs and RSIs, but when the structural integrity of a channel is this severe, you don't need anything else. Really. Unless you're like zooming in to figure out, is it going to bounce here? Then yeah, you can, start using RSIs and EMAs of 5-minute and 30-minute charts to say, okay, is it going to bounce here or is it going to come down here first? That when you zoom in, you can start using that stuff. But looking at the whole chart, you don't need anything. You don't even need to look at the weekly 10. You don't need anything on this besides these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those 6 lines. Boom, boom, bada, bing. Straight down. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was looking at when I said that, like these crosses. All right. Let me check Bitcoin real quick before I actually do got to get off of here shortly. Still getting rejected by the 4 hour. So this is the 4 hour 21. Didn't fill the gap. Didn't hit the weekly 10. Really surprising. It stopped in no man's land. What is there? Maybe there's a horizontal there. Nope, there's nothing there. What the hell? Interesting. All right. I'll look at Hex versus the dollar. Hey, we're almost to my box. Yeah, I'm not going to pick up any Hex until it's in this box, and then I'll pick up more assuming it gets into this box too. These are my targets. Very clearly labeled. And I am interested in holding this for a long time to get the staking rewards and everything. One of my bigger regrets in crypto is not, I've listened to Richard. I've struggled through a lot of his videos for years now, and as he was talking about how to get your MetaMask hooked up to it before it all came out, and I just about did it, but I was too concerned that he was just emotionally hurt because he was a Bitcoin maximalist, right? And then he's done a 180. Now he's like against Bitcoin, saying that Hex is better than Bitcoin in every way, which, it might be. Like, his reasonings for it are, he's a smart guy, so what he says is probably more true than not, from a technical standpoint. But, I would say everything but network security. I think, Bitcoin is more secure. But, At the time, the reason I didn't do it is because I thought he might have been emotionally hurt, and this could have been his way to get back at crypto, right? To create an asset and, like rug pull. I thought there was too much of a risk, but it's definitely not a rug pull. That dude is working his butt off to really try to actually help people in crypto and make a product that is, in his opinion, the best product out there. And I made a mistake in my analysis of his intent. His intent actually was good, and he's definitely working his butt off to make crypto a better place for people. So. However, on a personal level, I am kind of concerned for him, though. I don't know. He seems off to me. But I do watch him. He's a hell of a source of information. One of the, if not the smartest guy in crypto. He's pretty awesome to watch, or at least when you get the information out of him that you're looking for. Yeah, I want to pick it up around 7 to 8 cents personally. This target right here. All right, that's X. MITX, Morpheus Labs, and then I got to get going, folks. All right. Oh, I mean, that's price discovery down. I wouldn't be interested in this. No way. This has no chance right now. Now, these are invalid, so I can get rid of those. What is this doing? I don't know. This is a sloppy chart. I don't know if you can make much sense out of it. But as of now, it's in a midterm time frame trading channel. Similar to the other ones. You can just draw a trading channel like this. And it's going to keep going down until it breaks out of it. Something to... I'm not for sure if this was a fake out to the downside or if truly the trading range goes that low, but something to this degree. Like with a point of control, something like that. Maybe. Yeah, it's going to keep making lower prices until it's out of this channel. That's a very aggressive slope, too. I don't know. It doesn't look good. I think it's got lower prices incoming. Even if Bitcoin doesn't make new lows below 30, as long as Bitcoin chops around, this is going to keep bleeding versus Bitcoin, unfortunately. Cross, bad. All right, LTC and Anchor, and I'm out. So, this is its bottom, its slash master origin line down here too. I mean, every single time Litecoin has been below this, it's been a great time to pick it up. 100% of times. You have to keep that in mind. And however, you also have to keep in mind that it is simply possible that this structure will break because it's bleeding badly versus Bitcoin. Its trend, its overall macro trend in its place in the market in terms of where crypto investors are going to put their money, it looks like the sexier coins, are not monetary coins. And with that, since there isn't enough interest in non-sexy flavor of the month coins, your new L1, layer 1s, and layer 2s, I don't know. It's a struggle that I have in my mind. It's 100% hit rate, great buy every single time. Like the best buys every single time. But I don't know. It feels like it's going to fall off the cliff. That's what it feels like to me. And it feels like I'm going to have to do something like this. And then maybe even do it again before this is recovered. It almost looks like it wants to hit somewhere down there. like so. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's really targeting somewhere between 55 and 70. Because, I mean, it's getting rejected by that line. Look, that's a straight up rejection. That's not using it as support. It looks like it's going to fall off of it. And then you have Total 2 and Bitcoin having crossed bad. I mean, I don't know. But also, it's 100% hit rate. Whenever it's below this line, great time to buy it. I don't... You know, you have to make up your own mind from a percentage basis. What percentage likelihood in your mind do you think it's going to do well from here and the trend continues? If you personally think that probability is 50%, then you might want to hold 50% of the Litecoin that you want to have in general. Or throw 50% of the money at it that you in turn want to throw at it. Whatever that percentage is, that's how much of it I would hold on a portfolio standpoint basis. But it doesn't look good. I would be really, really weary of it. I would feel more comfortable getting it after it came above this line and use it as support. That would make me feel a lot better. All right, let me see if I had any other channel members ask me about stuff. All right, I'm going to look at Bitcoin, then I got to go. Zoom way into this bad boy. 4-hour 21 is still acting as resistance. So your short-term time frame range really is between the weekly 21 and the weekly 10 right now. A break above either means that's the next direction of the move. However, even a scream down to the weekly 10, it's still within its range, and it doesn't mean it's going to break down, right? So I'm seeing this on the 5-minute chart. So it's not at risk of really breaking down quite yet, because you have a gap to fill back here from Friday CMEs, and it's very, very likely going to bounce off of there. Does it have to bounce? No. It does not have to bounce. But if it does crash through there, then it's going to hit. It's very likely going to come. I don't know. I think there's a horizontal before that, though. I mean, honestly, I would. I mean, it looks like it would come straight down to 39.5 or so, 39.4 to the quarter line here. The quarter zone of the macro range. But as of now, I still think this is going to hold up, and it's at least going to chop around for a while, if not break up and out of here. But that doesn't mean that's what it has to do, and I'm personally in my positions being defensive around the reaction of the candles around this line, around the weekly 10 EMA. So this is the weekly 10 here at the bottom. All right. See y'all. I will see you on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. New York time. I do live shows, so we'll see you on Tuesday, and peace out. Later.